The state of Nigerian politics is a conversation we need to keep having. This is not about sounding intelligent, it's about being honest. In a country where survival has become a daily miracle, silence is no longer golden, it's dangerous. The truth is, the state of the nation is a mirror, and many of us don't like what we see. But we can't look away. Today, we continue what we started, an unfiltered, unapologetic look at where we are as a nation, how we got here, and most importantly, what we are willing to do about it. This is more than talk, it's a reckoning. Today, we're going even deeper because truth is still bitter and Nigeria is still bleeding. I'm not here to sugarcoat reality. I'm here because, like many Nigerians, I'm angry, I'm tired, and I'm also not giving up. Not now, not ever. This conversation is about real people, real issues, and the kind of radical honesty we need to have if we are ever going to move from chaos to clarity. I'm joined again by guests who, like me, believe that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. So if you're listening, watching, or scrolling through, this is not the time to be passive. This is the time to engage, reflect, and maybe, just maybe, reignite a little hope. Because change won't come from the top. It will come from all of us deciding that enough is enough. And this is where I welcome you to Politics Uncensored, where we keep it raw, real, and unfiltered. Last time, we held nothing back. We spoke the truth. Many are too tired or too afraid to say out loud. Nigeria is in distress. But this episode, we go deeper. We're not just talking problems, we're dissecting power, pushing responsibility, and demanding solutions, because outrage without action is just noise. Today, we turn that noise into momentum. Our goal is to provide a platform for open and honest discussions where experts and everyday citizens like you can share your perspectives and insights. It's your favorite show, and as I said, we have two expert guests who will be joining us soon. I'm your host, Okikiola Taiwo Jalukmon, the poly-humanitarian, and of course, I'm here to ensure politics is accessible to all. Every of our episode is about you, so be a part of the conversations every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and add your voice to these discussions. You can also head on to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, hit that subscribe button, like, and share this link. You can also invite your friends, family, and frenemies to join the show right now. Our phone lines are open to you. Call us on 070-2500-7749 and 070-1424-2420. Let's hear what you have to say. We'll go on a break right now, and we'll return with our guests and take our top stories in the political space making headlines. Please stay tuned. You are still watching Politics Uncensored, and as I said, today we'll be analyzing the state of the nation. We had a part one phase where it was almost impossible for us to wrap everything up, and that's why we're having this conversation again. As I said, the conversation of Nigeria is something that we need to keep having because prices are rising daily, but salaries remain static or unpaid. Youths are forced into tech, fraud, or prayer. Anything to escape poverty at this point. Some run to Canada, others to TikTok. Either way, it's an escape. Corruption is no longer shocking, it's expected. From local government to federal levels, money disappears like magic. And when people steal billions, we probe. But when poor people steal bread, we imprison. But here's the twist. Nigerians are resilient to a fault. We laugh through pain. We create despite chaos. We party, we pray, we protest. Sometimes all in the same weekend. The Nigerian spirit is undefeated, but it's very tired. We don't need pity. We need justice, accountability, vision, leadership that sees beyond elections, governance that works for the grassroots up, policies that help and not just headlines that describe. We have people, we have the brains, we have the energy, What we need now is radical honesty, radical change, and the collective will to stop accepting scraps when we deserve the full table. And speaking bold, I am joined by two individuals who are not only voices of accountability, but active players in shaping a better Nigeria. First, from the Act of Lagos, we have someone who understands grassroots challenges and the mechanics of local revenue generation. He is the Vice Chairman for Revenue at the Agege local government, a man focused on improving transparency and building systems that work for the people. Mr. Kamal Oyedunle, you're welcome, sir. We also have someone who is sharp and fearless voice in Nigeria's media space, someone who has spent years reporting, questioning, and engaging with the issues that affect ordinary citizens. He brings perspective, clarity, and courage to the national conversation, and he's a respected journalist and public affairs analyst from Ofonime Okon. I'm sure he's here, and it's great to have you on the show. Do I have Okon here? Well, our political story on the news this morning, it's about our president, of course. Usually, when we start to read stories about him, it's always filled with a lot of eyebrows. But this news is saying that Tinubu will go after those behind the Benue killings. And we remember very well that the Benue killings made headlines some weeks ago, and looking into the week where people were attacked overnight, children were burnt alive, and a lot of people were unalived throughout the night. And it's Yari saying now that Tinubu will go after those behind the Benue killings. And he's saying that his name first is Abubakar Yari, who is the senator for Zamfara West. He has assured Nigerians that President Bola Tinubu is not the type of leader who makes empty threats, expressing confidence that the president will pursue those responsible for the recent killings in Yelewata, Benue, and bring them to justice. In a release on Thursday, Yari, the Senate Committee Chairman on Water Resources, condemned what he described as the gruesome murder of innocent and harmless citizens. He also advocated for a whole-of-society approach to combat insecurity. He described the Benue massacre as devastating, noting that the president has not only shown responsible and responsive leadership by identifying with the people of Benue and visiting the state on Wednesday, but on-the-spot actions that he took were marks of a hands-on leader. The president is capable of containing the situation, and even if it means adopting total extreme strategies to give every part of the nation peace, he would do it. And this is Yari, of course, stating this. He said that because he was elected to secure the nation and the people, and this he understands very much. He also said that Tinubu's decision to suspend everything he was doing and to also keep others on hold is worthy of note. If we understood the responsibilities associated with the office of the president, we will see the empathy in a decision to personally visit Benue. He could have delegated a high-powered team to visit and stand in for him while he will go on his other commitments. But he decided to show leadership and identify with the people who showed him love through their votes and also believed in his person and leadership. The former governor of Zamfara explained. And this is stating that he has also mentioned that he can assure the people of Benue and Nigeria in general that those people behind this dastardly act will not get away with their mindlessness. Those in charge of security also know the implications of not living up to billing, so no one is kidding here. But over on Wednesday, I'm sure that we all saw a video of the president landing in Benue, and even as far as having a town hall, meeting with some of the stakeholders in this sense. While a lot of Nigerians have had different perspectives to his arrival and the fact that he was still looking glamorous when the president arrived. He gave a lot of perception to what really, if he was going there for empathy or for some case. And we can see in the video the kind of flood that was that he also had to go through to get to the state in that sense. But this is showing more than just insecurity issues. It's also showing the safety of our roads and our transportation system in that sense. If I'm glad that the president experienced such flooding, that's if we're really looking at it, so that he knows that beyond the insecurity issues, there's also flood crisis that's happening in states in Nigeria. So that's one part for the story I have on the news. We've also had other people talk about how even as much as the president has gone to Benue on Wednesday, there's still no significant improvement, especially in these areas. So I'm hoping that Benue State really has the safety that they require and they need at this point. We don't want any more deaths. Benue State is part of Nigeria and it should be treated, as such. No more bloodshedding. We don't need that anymore in our current day Nigeria. Benue State is the food basket of the nation, and I don't know if we understand that this is a war cry. Benue is very known for food produce, farming, and all of these things. Our yams, so many of our things come from there. And if this is being affected, it means prices of food will go up. From there, transportation will even be eaten. I'm even wondering how transport companies even move the goods from the farms to Lagos if there's a flood like the one that the president actually experienced. But basically, that's all we have on the political news trending today. We'll go on a break and then we'll return with our guest and go straight into the topic for today. Please stay tuned.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Well, thank you for staying tuned. If you just tuned in, we are analyzing the state of the nation. We've had this topic before, and then we've discussed how far Nigeria has gone. And we had Okon join us the last time, and he's here again to continue this conversation. I'm so glad to have you here, Okon. Can you hear me?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, wonderful. I would love to hear your perspective about the story I read before we went on the break about the president visiting Benue on Wednesday and how far the security measures have gone to maintain peace there.
Okay, thank you. Let me start by saying that even from your introduction, you've seen that this government, this present Tinubu administration, does not really mean well for Nigerians. And I ask, we are hearing of Yelawate for being in crisis, killings, and all of that. But I can bet you for free that we've had these cases of killings in many parts of Benue State, even before now. Even before now, we had these cases, different locations, different communities in Benue State have been ransacked. People have been ransacked from their homes, killings, people have been displaced. But I think what spurred Mr. President this time around may have been, don't forget that this visit came barely few days or hours after another activist, video, very dark man, visited Benue State.
Right.
The country I see we run is. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you. Please go on.
Okay. The way I see this country is that it's a push and starts. Because if not, why wait till now to go to Benue State? Is it true that we have been hearing cases of killings? And it goes to show that our government, they don't have human sympathy. They don't pay attention to our feelings. Let me give you an instance. In US or other developed countries, they know what one life means to them. They will go to war to save one life. But, come to Nigeria, apart from hearing of 200 persons and all of that, there have been series of killings. We have been reporting. I'm sure you are a journalist. You hear the stories of killings. You hear the stories of people being displaced, and a whole lot in Benue State. Not even in Benue State alone. Other states in the north. Are you even talking about the east? Has Mr. President come to the east for one day to see what's going on in these states? And people are asking, if there are a lot of killings in Benue State, for instance, why have you not declared a state of emergency? Because if you declare a state of emergency, it cannot allow you that liberty to bring in the military to put this into check. But people will always argue, since it's not River State where they have so much resources, where you can tap into their resources, for Mr. President, there's no need to declare a state of emergency because there may be no economic benefits to him when compared to a River State. And I will link it to River State. I always link it to River State. What will the yardstick for Mr. President to have declared a state of emergency in River State? According to his argument, he said that threatening the peace, as in mere speculation of threatening the peace. Did you come down to River State like you went to Benue? Did you do cross-checking of your facts to have come to that conclusion that, River State was in turmoil or River State was in crisis, that people could not move from one place to the other? None of this thing happened. But our parents are more concerned about their politics, their interest, than even the human life. They take us for right. We don't mean anything to them. What matters to them is their perpetual interest politically. What matters to them is that even in the second year of the administration, they're already thinking of a second term. And you're thinking of second term. What is the yardstick? Why should we even give you the vote for a second term? What have you done to us? What have you done to us? But let's stay in the Benue State. The former governor saying he has you thank Mr. President. You thank Mr. President for doing what? For carrying out his duty. He was elected to protect lives and property. So why are you thanking him for he went to Benue State? Should that be a news? Look what happened during that visit. You brought that school children to stay in the rain to welcome Mr. President. During that visit also, they turned it into a political funfair. Campaigning. How do you, it's a smack of ignorance that people will be doing this kind of silly things. See the children in a state that is mourning. People are going to play politics. In a state that is in mourning, you are bringing in school children to stay in the rain for God knows how many hours they were standing there. And then a sitting senator will come out to say, you thank Mr. President for going to Benue State. Wouldn't you go to Benue State before to see what the people are going through? Was he not elected to protect lives and property? I don't know. We tend to play politics in everything in this country. Everything is about politics. If not, how do you bring those school children outside in the rain? How do you bring in a campaign billboards and posters in a state that is mourning? I think it's a terrible situation that we are in this country. And I don't see any who will be under this present administration of President Bola Tinubu. I'm not even surprised, Sharp, but I told people at Benicio that nothing good will come out from this administration. I didn't see anything coming out from this administration. So I'm not even surprised with what I'm seeing so far in the country. But I pray, because we are in a very terrible situation under the APC administration, that offered suffering, that offered pains, that offered misery, that offered hardship, that offered us. Let me stop here for now.
I understand your emotional outpour at this point, but I'm trying to also see how we can open this conversation or beyond the president at this point. Of course, he's the #1 citizen of Nigeria, but there's some background problems to that has been happening, some systematic problem. For example, I don't think that is the president that would have written a letter for school children to be put under the rain, you know, to welcome him in that sense. So it's more than just the president's problem. It's also a human problem where they think that politics should be played at every level, even when empathy is what should be, you know, should be driven at this point. He went there in person, just like the Senator Yari said that he could have attended other commitments, but he had to step from his high horse and go to Benue State and all of that stuff. Of course, is the least I would have expected from the president at this outrageous murder that happened over the week. But of course, we know that everything is being politicized when it comes to Nigeria. If he shakes the hand of somebody, they have to make it look like it's a big thing. If he sits, he has to look like a big thing. And I remember one of the guests mentioning that. His name is Abdul Mumin. He mentioned that the president has a larger-than-life image, so it makes it look like everything he does has to be unnecessarily heightened in that sense. But basically, as I said, I really like the fact that even as much as he went to Benue State, his convoy still had to experience flood, so that he knows that it is not just a problem of insecurity, it's a road problem, it's an infrastructure problem that he needs to deal with. It's a structural problem that he needs to deal with. Imagine somebody watches that video and sees the name of those school children and just feels the need that those children are even at security threat, because they see the name and they feel like, okay, for these people to come out and welcome this president that they might like or might not like, will go ahead and attack, you know, this school. So for me, I also did not like the look of the video, but unfortunately, it's the Nigeria that we have, the present-day Nigeria that we have. But this is why we're having this conversation, really, to change some of the things that have looked like norms, you know, to normal people, so that from there, the government, people can also take insights from some of these conversations that we are having and change the perception or the ideology about what Nigeria should look like. But moving on from that, as a journalist, I'm sure that you have constantly plugged into public perception. So what would you say is the general mood of Nigerians right now towards the government? You have given me your own personal move that you already said from ab initio that we're not going to get anything from the President Tinubu's administration. And you are saying that this is proof that what you said from the beginning has come to life. It's almost like a pastor prophesying something at this point. But I want to look from the public perception now. You as a journalist, what do you think the general mood of Nigerians are right now towards the government?
It's been moody. It's been one characterized by dissentment. And, you know, I'll always take Rivers State as a case study, because I'm not in the north. I'm not in the east at the moment. This is where I am resident. So everything I do will always snowball from Rivers State. But I can tell you for free that Rivers people in particular are not happy with this administration. Nigerians extracting it from Rivers State, they are not happy with this administration. We are not happy under this APC administration. It's been a total failure from day one, from when the first subsidy was removed, and the pains of that subsidy is still living with us at the moment. Life has been so miserable for a lot of people. People can no longer afford a 3-square meal. It's been a very terrible administration, and the worrying part is that you don't even see an end in sight anytime soon. So all we are now doing now is keeping our hearts in our hands, praying that the worst does not befall us before the end of this 4 years tenure, because it's been a terrible situation. People are finding it difficult to feed. It's been terrible. You go to filling stations. Before now, you go to a filling station, you stand on a queue for 1 or 2 hours just to get a liter of fuel because it was cheaper But now, all you just need to do is just to walk in freely and then walk in without stress, because you can't go to a station and see 1 or 2 cars lining on the queue because it's expensive. When you take 900 naira to buy a liter of petrol, there are other needs to be handled.
met,
You
yeah.
will look at paying school fees, you look at eating, you look at clothing and a whole lot, data bundle, DSTV subscription, and a whole lot of things, responsibilities on parents, fathers in particular. And that's why you see most people slide into depression because of lots of thinking. So this Tinubu administration has not offered any hope. There's no glimpse of hope that, oh, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, it's going to be better, because as we are already talking now, them politicians are already thinking of 2027. It means that they have already done tools. In their estimation, they have done the best they can do. And then if you can't do anything in 2 years, you can't do anything in 4 years. So what are we expecting, that, assuming without considering that you win second term? So that means we are going to die. All of us are going to die. We are going to die. If I don't know whether you've watched this movie, all of us are dead. So we are all going to be dead, in quotes. So it's very pathetic. It's very terrible. It's sad for us. I don't know how we got here. We just pray, or people are praying. Nigerians are praying. Rivers people are praying that this coalition that's been led by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will see the light of the day, so that this government that has inflicted pains and misery on us can be unseated or uprooted from the system, so that we can have a glimmer of hope and see whether we can chart a way forward for the growth of this country and Nigeria, because it's been a sad story for us since this administration of APC took over power from PDP under President Goodluck Jonathan.
Well, Okon, you've said quite a number of things, and to be honest, while I agree on some things, there are some things that I've also sort of, had a different view of. I remember that over the years, or since I ever knew what they call politics, it has always been humans, complaining about that administration where they are in not working well for them in that sense. And I'm sure that that's one of the ways that the APC was able to, outrun the PDP in this sense. But we need to now start looking beyond just pointing fingers. Yes, the president has mentioned how his electoral reform is what is making the economy very hard, very stifling. And we also saw the prices of things shoot up over the years, but quite noticeably is that it skyrocketed really high when the president came, into power. But he, as I said, he mentioned that it's quite a number of electoral reforms that has been happening. And my personal opinion was some of these electoral reforms are very necessary for the growth of Nigeria, but they are not cushion effect to manage that for the average Nigerian. As I said, one of the things that I would have expected the president to do is also to manage governance, the cost of governance as we see it. We see budgeting going into debts, but when we look at the other side, the flip side of what the politicians are earning, we're seeing wardrobe allowance, we're seeing housing allowance and all of these things. So I feel that some of the debts that we have could have some cushion effect if we take out a form of reduction, in the cost of governance into the system. So I would not outrightly say that the president has completely had no idea of what to do for Nigeria. I've read some of the electoral reforms. I've been able to highlight some of the things that I felt that the administration was supposed to take up. For example, we had over all the campaign, almost all the aspirants talking about full subsidy removal, and them saying that immediately they get into power, they will take out full subsidy and all of that. The president got into power, took out its first speech was taking out full subsidy, but without a cushion effect, without a follow-up plan to help Nigerians cope with this thing. So maybe that is the problem I would highlight, which is the problem of implementation and managing situations that would throw the Nigeria off balance in that sense. And this has led people to protest, to talk about this thing. And there's been a growing talk about civil disobedience in that sense. And I'm using civil disobedience because that's almost what some politicians and some advocates of this administration has been saying. And these have led to, you know, protests in response to this economic hardship. But do you think that the media especially has done enough to amplify citizen voices, or has it played it safe? I remember very well that before the media actually took up the story of these Benue killings, it was not until after Very Dark Man, like you mentioned, went to this state to actually, you know, post videos, very gruesome videos of what has happened to these people. And it was more just like a headline that was just supposed to be passive. So do you think that as much as, you know, people come out to protest or they show concern in that sense when things are going wrong, do you think that the media is doing enough to amplify citizen voices, or has it played it safe like we've seen over the week?
The media has always played its role as the watchdog of the society in so many ways. Let's talk about what you mentioned earlier in your intro. Are you there?
Yes, of course, I'm with you.
You talk about the reforms of Mr. President and all of that. And I'll take this as a yardstick. This program that we are doing at this moment, he did not wake up this morning or this afternoon to intimate me of this program. You gave me a prior notice, like more than 1 week prior notice for this interview. Why am I saying so? Looking back at the first subsidy, yes, I agree. Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar had also said that they were going to remove subsidy. But, you know, sometimes it depends on the timing. Maybe let me say that if you inform me about this program 2 minutes or 5 minutes ago, maybe I wouldn't have been disposed to. So, but because you gave me a 1 week notice, that's why I was prepared. So, coming to say subsidy, fine. We've always been saying, even Goodluck wanted to remove subsidy on petrol. But it's about putting structures in place. You want to ameliorate the suffering in the plight of Nigerians. So what are you putting on the other hand for you to get this job done? It's not about saying you remove subsidy. Remove subsidy. Don't even forget that this subsidy that removing is what was our incentive as Nigerians. Government will say, okay, instead of buying fuel 900, we have paid 450 for you. Go and buy fuel for 450. It makes the burden on me lesser. So now you're taking away that small incentive I was enjoying now. And you're saying you are doing me good. And then there are no rails, transportation. There are no other alternative means of transportation for me to ease the pace of the payments of a city. And you're saying you are doing me a whole lot of good. Is that how it works? You are saying, okay, we are coming up with so many policy, economic policy and all of that. We are not feeling it. Let me give you a clear example. My brother yesterday went to buy a water heater. As at 2013 or 2023, that's 2 years ago, that water heater was sold for 40,000 to 45,000. He went yesterday, and it's been sold at 95,000 in the space of 2 years. Cement was sold for about 5,000, 4,000 thereabouts about 2 years ago. Cement is about hovering around 10,000 plus now, just in the space of 2 years. We are buying a fuel about 200, 300, 400, 200 at that time. But it's about 900 now. We used to buy at 80, 85,000 then. We are buying rice at double the price. So when you say you are coming up with economic policies, blueprints, and you are saying life is getting better, how is life getting better? I drive. I know how much I spend weekly to buy fuel. I know how much. I know how much I spend. I know how much when I go to the market. Before now, you can go to the market with 5,000. I can pay you for free. You cook a very sumptuous meal. Go to the market now. If you can buy pepper with 1,000, just go to the market now. Or you want to buy a fresh tomato. What do you want to buy with 5,000 in the market now? life is difficult for Nigerians. No policy, no economic policy is working. What government is doing is that they are enriching their pockets. They don't care about us. They don't care about our family. In short, from history, you will see that Nigerian politicians don't even care about us. They don't even see us exist. It's only outside the country, developed countries, UK, US, you see them coming up with incentive, healthcare, educational trust fund. You see them doing so many kinds of things for their citizens. But in this country, what have you, even as a journalist now, are you enrolled in any policy that is like a big incentive to you? Is it in terms of healthcare or education? Are you having free access to loan to get your job done and all of that? So what can you say? What can you say? This is even in the midst of the fact that there are checks and balances in terms of journalists, you and I doing our work. Imagine a state where they were not answerable, where people were not putting their eyes on their activities and everything they do. It means that it will even get worse. It will get worse in this country. So the little having is thanks to me and you, the effort you have put in, the bringing out those ills in the society, telling the people that this government is a failure, telling the people that when they go right, you say we are going right. Because if not, you are going to Benue State. Now people are clapping for you. Oh, the president has come to Benue State. For what we employed you. We employ you to do the job for us. So why should we clap for you that you are having A1 for coming to Benue State? So, my sister, it's a terrible situation. These governments don't mean well for us. They don't have intention for us. We only pray for the better, because for this Tinubu, the hope is dashed. Nothing good will come out from it.
Well, that's being very absolute, but I'm still going to be on the part of hope here. That I think that just like you mentioned, that one of the things that we are doing is to highlight the problems and the solutions for the administration in this sense. So I'm thinking and I'm hoping that with some of our commentary and our discussions, the president can pick a form of solution or solutions out of this in this sense. I don't want to absolutely say that the administration is a failure in this sense. I want to see that they are going through or they need guidance in that sense. I believe that that's a more subtle word to use. Deborah here is commenting that they are acting like the president did the Benue people a favor. It's its duty to do such because he's responsible for the lives of Nigerians. Of course, he's responsible for the life of Nigerians, and I don't think that the fuss about him going to Benue should be what should be on the headlines, but rather the fact that security and peace has been restored in that state. But let's take a breather right now and then we'll return, diving deeper into this conversation. Please stay tuned.
Do not understand.
Well, thank you for staying tuned. This is still Politics Uncensored, and we're talking about the state of the nation. We have Okonie, who is a journalist, who has also been making certain statements that are very bold. I believe that this is why we're here. When the truth needs to be said, of course, it has to be said. When things need to be sorted with immediate effect, of course, that should also happen. So he's here, talking about his perception and the public perception from his end about the state of the nation. And he has played that card that the media are doing their job. While I can take some exceptions, that there are some media who are doing their job, I can say me for one in that sense. There are some who have also been tied to the rhythm of politicians. So I'm going to be asking Okonie questions. Some have argued that the media now dances to the rhythm of politicians or owners with vested interests. In this state of the nation, how do you personally navigate truth and pressure?
In school, in one of the courses, we talk about media censorship, how governments have control over the media. But like it's rightly said, it's not all medium that do that. And I'm not also going to mention names of media houses that do that. But you and I know that it's going on. It's going on. There are some media houses that you dare not bring something negative against Mr. President or even the state governor, and it will fly. You know it will not fly. The line editor will easily, so you run into trouble with the line editor. If not, if you're not even careful now, you even be queried for digging in something against Mr. President or the state governor, for instance, because that's where you talk about the honors, having influence, having alliance with people, in government, and then if Mr. President, no, don't do that. But like upgrade TV. If you are in that line, I'm not sure you allow me to be very raw in my comment or in my view. I'm sure in between you'll be trying to see how you can cut me off so I don't express my feelings, especially when it doesn't go your way. But see the way I am, see the way how open and very transparent you are giving me the platform to vent my expression and all of that. It means that like even in the title, Politics Uncensored, that means it's a free to air stuff. I'm free to say the things I'm debate. But we need to agree that Nigeria is a mixed breed, good and bad. So some people will allow their platform to be used for politics. Some will not allow their platform to be used for politics. So it's a mixed up. It's a mixed up. I don't want to pinpoint. I don't want to name people that are into it or are not into it. It's a two-way thing.
I get you. I get you. I get you very well. We have quite a number of comments here on our social media platform. M. Jones is saying, as many have said and seen, most media will bury this type of stories when they are to inform the people. Well, God, when they are to info the people, I'm not sure I really got that correctly. But then M. Jones is saying, God bless VDM for sharing the video. Shalyn Edwards is also saying, very true, M. Jones. And M. Jones is still saying that they are all complicit, minimum journalism. And Shalyn Edwards said, God bless the guests for saying it. The leaders don't care about the citizens, only fulfilling their pockets. Well, as I said, this is a conversation that must be had, and I'm glad that quite a number of people are watching us and also giving their own perception about the state of the nation. But I want to ask Okon and also our viewers watching, what is the most dangerous lie we're telling ourselves about the state of Nigeria today? So let me hear from you while I also wait to read the comments from our viewers.
The lie we tell ourselves is that we believe that Nigeria is going to be better. You cannot sit down, fold your arms, and then lie down and say Nigeria will be better. Or like you are a student now, you don't read your books, you don't prepare for your exams. What you are doing is you are reading the Bible and say, let me be comfortable with the Bible when you have exam physics to write. You are not preparing for physics, you're not preparing for the practical. And then you now say, I will score A1. How do you want to score it? It can never get better until we wake up, until we rise up as a country, as a people, and say enough is enough. And I remember when I was in school, tertiary institution, I said, as young as I was that time, I said the only way out for this country is revolution, whether you like it or not. You know what happened in Egypt, 2013 uprising. If we don't get to that level in this country, we'll get even worse. We won't even make any progress. So let's stop deceiving ourselves. Oh, let's pray for a better Nigeria. Someone will come and say, oh, Nigeria is going to be. It will not be better. The followers have to wake up. We have to take the bull by the horn. We have to say enough is enough. We have to begin to confront this politician and say, for instance, INEC, you will not rig this election. If Ofonime Okon is the winner of this election, announce Ofonime Okon. Don't tell us that, oh, we are going to shut down, we resume in the morning. When we come back in the morning, you have changed Ofonime Okon to Mr. Honorable Kamal and put a different name. If we don't rise up and say enough is enough, there is no hate for us. So Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Let's stop lying to ourselves and say, oh, Nigeria will be, politicians, they have a way of deceiving us. Say, Nigeria, let's pray for a better Nigeria, praying for a much better Nigeria. You have opportunity now, you go and bring your cousin, you go and bring your niece, you go and bring your nephew to fill those positions. When you're, what happens to your supporters? Or during elections now, you will see them now opening the roof of their car. Hey, they're cheering us. Hey. After that election, after that process, they are gone. They won't even pick your call again. When the time comes for election, they'll start calling you, hey, Mrs. Campbell, how are you? After then, they are gone. So how are we going to be better? One politician will stay in power for 26 years. Imagine that somebody is staying in the Senate for 20 years, 24 years. Are you saying that is the only a smart person in that community or in that state? Why not come up with a system that if you have served in this position, please, let's give it to another person. Let's try to see how we can rotate these government positions so that if it comes to family A today, tomorrow it can go to family B, tomorrow it can go to the next family. But if one person is being in power for 20 years, from chairmanship to assembly, to governor, to speaker, to president, when will it trickle down to a poor me? When will it come down to the poor person in the village? Must it soup? People they say soup no dey sweet for one person as alone. All of us want to chop this food. Let it go round. Because when this thing goes round, we are all going to be happy. But if it's one person, there will always be dissentment. There will always be that anger, that pain. So please, let's stop deceiving ourselves that Nigeria is going to be better. It will not get better until we now decide as a country, as a people, and say enough is enough. Until we hit the street like the Egyptians did in the Cairo crisis uprising. If we don't get to that level, we will not make any headway, my sister.
Thank you very much, Okon. I don't know why I love this conversation that I'm having with you, but one thing I'm just going to take away, which I'm also clamoring for now, is the fact that, of course, nothing is going to change until we say enough is enough, and we actually take not just to the streets at this point, maybe for protests, but we take to the ballot boxes, to political houses, to every angle of government to say that enough is enough and things just has to change for we as people. Charlene Edwards here is saying that the biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we should just pray for things to get better, and she said it as lie. I don't know about all of these things, but maybe things could get better. I don't know. I'm really clamoring for things to get better as Nigerians, and of course it really starts with us if we choose to do so, and it's now. It's not about later, it's now. M. Jones is also saying, Abi, God says without works is dead. People need to stop tolerating all of this blatant wickedness, demand the politicians work for the betterment of the citizen. And I completely agree with you. But I'm going to ask another question. What do you think that governance will look like if we stripped away all of these titles, all this agbada left and right at every parliamentary meeting and consensus in that sense, and the power games that we see play, and maybe focus on the ordinary Nigerians' reality? How do you think governance will go? I'm going to act like I don't know what it's going to look like, because I also have, my own view about it, but I would love to hear from you first, Okon.
It has nothing to do with our dress code. Whether we wear agbada or we wear tibor, that's nothing to do with that.
Now, I'm referring to the politicians where we see them in their best of agbadas and their titles.
What we need to make it better is to make it less attractive. How much is a senator going home on a monthly basis? When you lump everything, salary, wardrobe, setting, and everything, newspaper, do they even read the newspaper? They'll be going home with millions of naira every month. How much is the university that are going home with every month? A lecturer will not go. So the day they even try to increase it, it is the same people that will say, no, it's too much. Why can I eat up to 80,000? Cannot pay 85,000 minimum wage. But the senators, the governors are going home billions of naira every month. I don't want to talk about the other exchange of the contract and all of that. But look at UK. You see a parliamentarian living just by your streets and living a normal life as if nothing happens. You see a parliamentarian living in a street that is not even gated. But in my street now, for instance, if a minister or a House of Assembly member is even living there, you see a toll gate from back and front to protect a lawmaker at the detriment of the entire people. So what is giving them those incentives is the money, is the power. Okay, you see now, for instance, let's go to Benue State. You go to a community, and I'm sure you go to a community, you will not see policeman guiding any of the street or any of the compounds. But you go, you see a politician going home with a litany of police officers, long convoy, protecting just one person. What happens to the poor people in Benue State? What happens to the community? What happens to the other communities that were affected by these killings? Are you seeing policemen there? You are not seeing them. So that's why I keep on saying this thing is about their belly. It's about them. They don't care. If they care about us, they will not have brought our school children to stand in the rain to welcome Mr. President when they said this morning. If they care about us, they will not go and do a campaign poster for a morning event. You will not see them going there to talk about the people. They only talk about the people in pictures, in print, in media, and behind the scene, they don't just care about us. So it's not about how they dress, it's not about the thing. It's to make the government, it's to make the system, it's to make political office less attractive.
So that they know that it's, if you're going into that space, you're doing real work, and that's about it. Okay, Oko, we're going to be wrapping up in less than a minute. Can you, if you had one direct, unfiltered message to send to the president right now, what would it be?
I think Mr. President is being surrounded by psychopaths. That they will wake up in the morning and say, Mr. President, Nigerians are so happy with your administration. Things are going on well in the country. Oh, Nigerians are even praying that you should even make second term without even contesting. That you are the best president that has ever happened to Nigeria. And I saw a quote yesterday where somebody posted and said, when the former president, Goodluck, was in power, the current president, Senate president now, Gospel was hailing him as the best president ever. When he left, the same Akpabio is my brother, Senate president, told Buhari, we have never had it so good in this country that you are the savior of this country. And just recently, one of the commissioners also, the same Mr. President, Senate President has come out to say that that without Tinubu, that is the Messiah, is the Jesus Christ of Nigeria at the moment. You know, psychophancy. So Mr. President is being surrounded by psychopaths, and that's why I'm happy he went to Benue State, not just for the issue of the killing, like you showed in the video, the flooding and all of that. It means that beyond the killings, the people are battling with a lot of crises in their hands. Beyond the killings, there are so many things that government ought to do, but they are not doing. Beyond the killings, there are so many things that government should do to ameliorate our plight. The flood is around now. So many states are being, about 31 states are being lined up for flooding in the state. What have we done? What have we done? Every year you hear government say, we are doing this, we are going to dredge the Niger, we are going to do this. After the rain recedes, they go back to their offices, they do nothing.
Thank you very much, Oko.
Crop of politicians.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that I have to cut you at this point. Our last comment is saying that I like when this guy talk. The only issue is there's too much evil in this country for this to happen. So, of course, I'm saying thank you for coming. And like our last comment said, he's also thanking you for joining this show. And, of course, all of us who have also listened to what the state of the nation is and the journalist perspective in that sense. Thank you. Truth be told, I just think that Nigeria is not suffering from a lack of resources. It's just suffering from a lack of political will, sincerity and connection to the people. What we have heard today isn't just analysis. It's a wake-up call. The state of the nation is not just a headline. It's lived reality for millions trying to survive where they should be thriving. But I believe in the power of honest dialogue, grassroots action, and youth-driven leadership to begin rewriting this story. We can't fix this country by sitting on the fence or speaking in hushed tones. We must keep speaking boldly, acting intentionally, and demanding better from our leaders and from ourselves. The future of Nigeria isn't a prophecy, it's a choice, and that choice begins now. Before I go, please ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further. Actually, we have another comment, and it's quite funny because it's almost like we're not going to leave here until we take all the comments that we have. Charlene Edwards is saying, yes, strip them of all those benefits. It said African politicians are the richest in the world. They go there to get rich. Thank you, Charlene. This is where we wrap up today's show. I'll see you again next week with another amazing topic. Bye-bye.